Claudio Martini at Resistance Training. Today I would like to talk about singles, doubles, and triples and how important these are to put in your training at certain periods of the year. All right, so I know it's not talked about much from a hypertrophy standpoint because usually when we talk about singles, doubles, and triples, we're talking in the powerlifting world or strength athlete world. But believe it or not, a lot of the old timers in the day, Reg Park, trained in this style. And I believe it's very important for the ligaments, your tendons, and the fascia. When lifting in the 3 down to the 1 rep range at almost 95% of your 1 rep max is going to strengthen all the tendons and the ligaments and the fascia. So that way, it's when you go back to higher reps, you're protected, so to speak. It's going to make your body stronger. Now, a book I recommend that everyone should have on their desktop is this, Dinosaur Training by Brooks D. Kubik. This guy is a monster. This book is an inspiration if you're a serious lifter, a natural lifter for naturals. There's a lot of abbreviated programs in here for the natural lifter. And I'll tell you, there's some insights and golden nuggets in here that you won't find from the steroid using world out there. The people that are all jacked up on gear. Because in the reality, these people out here, these lot of these influencers, they're jacked up to get the look that they have. They're jacked up, and you're not going to ever be able to achieve that. Don't get me wrong; you can get close if you're a young man and you work at it hard, but you're never going to get to the point where they are unless you hop on the anabolic train, and that's just the reality of the whole thing. And I just wanted to get that out there. Remember, singles, doubles, and triples are awesome to implement into your training at certain periods during the year. It's helped me out, and it's fun. I get off on it. I get off on lifting heavy ass weight, and a lot of ways you can do this is you can do a single for 10 sets. Get a weight that you can do at 95% of your 1 rep max and do 10 sets of a single, 10 sets of a single. Or you can do twos, a set of 2 for, do like 8 sets of 2 or 8 sets of 3. But load that bar up. Take long breaks and load it up. You'll be surprised at the amount of strength that you can build in a very, very short time. And it's good. It's good to change out and do something different. And always chasing hypertrophy all the time, it just gets it gets old after a while. And it gives you something to measure. You actually see your strength going up. And believe me, this is not just about getting huge and big. You want to be strong and functional. You want to be strong, and you want your tendons to be strong. And Brooks, in this book, he'll explain to you how important tendon strength is and ligament strength. The strong men of old, back in the 1900s, 1910, they trained like this. They trained their ligaments and their tendons, and that's why they were brutally strong individuals. And believe me, the last thing you want to do is if you're on a lot of gear and you've never trained that way and you hop on gear just out of the blue, you're going to snap shit up. Your body is not accustomed. Your joints and your ligaments have not matured if you haven't trained in this manner and you just jump on gear, especially young men. You guys want to be careful. You should have at least 6 to 8 years under your belt before you even think about going on any type of PEDs. And my recommendation, don't ever go on PEDs. It's just ridiculous. And if you're not going to make millions of dollars and you're not going to get a role in a movie or get paid millions of dollars, it's not worth it. Don't do it. Train naturally and get as strong as you can possibly get and as big as possibly you can get for your genetics. Okay. And then I'm going to close on this. And this is very important to all natural lifter, especially older men. You know, I'm in my 60s. I'm 68 years old. Guys in their 40s and 50s. I'm speaking to you. And this is not to say that, oh, I'm trying to put like a doomer mentality on anyone. I'm not trying to do that, but I would like to say this is there is a genetic limit. Anyone that tells you that there is no genetic limit and you can just grow and grow and grow because for some oddball reason your training's not correct or you're not training correctly or not hard enough, to put the guilt on you. When you do this to people, you're actually hurting them, because in the long run, they will do everything in their power to try to get the physiques that they see, and then they fall short and they get bummed out. They get bummed out and they don't understand why. Sure, a lot of it, I'll admit, a lot of it does have to do with improper programming and not knowing how to train. But even with the best programming and the best diet and the best sleep, you will eventually hit your genetic limit. We are all different. We all have different wrist sizes. You know, you're not going to tell me a man with an 8 or 9 inch wrist is not going to be stronger than a man with a 6 inch wrist. He's going to, his insertions, his tendons, everything how he's built. If he's thick boned, you can see it. And people that don't even lift, you can see it in people genetically how we're all different. So anyone that tells you, oh, there's no genetic limit, they're feeding you a line of horse shit. And the reason they do it, you know why? Because they want you to keep on clicking, because they've got the key, man. They've got the key to get you big and strong and jacked like they are. They got the ticket. And if they tell you there is a genetic limit, you're not going to be turning them on anymore. But now I want to explain this. This is very important. That does not mean to just give up. I'm not saying that. I'm saying train as hard as you possibly can and give it all you got. Study, redo your program, learn about programming, do everything in your power that you can possibly do and talk to people, talk to trainers, talk to coaches, talk to people. Get as much info and take it as far as you can possibly go. But at one certain point, you will reach a point where you can't go anymore. Now, that doesn't mean you can't still train. Of course, we will always train. That just because you hit your limit doesn't mean we stop training. And you can probably make little increments, like a minuscule amount of progress in the years, okay? That is possible. It can be done. And understanding that it's so important, understanding how your body reacts to stimulus, how your body reacts to certain foods. These are things that you must accumulate over the years, so that way you understand how to best do for yourself in this game of iron, this game of lifting, because we are all different and we all react differently. Now, there is of the basics. There are the basics, and the basic rules apply to everyone. But at a certain point, we're going to have to branch off, and we got to make certain things work for us versus someone else. And this is where everyone will hit that wall, and they don't understand why. This is when it takes wisdom and intelligence, because a lot of you guys will never understand why you hit that wall and why we can't go to the next level. It's complicated, and not many people will be able to tell you why, okay? And there's many reasons, and I could be here for hours on end telling you, but the bottom line is, before you get there, give it all you got. And then it's time to reevaluate to figure out, how do we proceed to the next step? Do I start doing different types of rep ranges? Do I do higher volume? And it goes on and on and on. You're going to have to figure that out yourself. No one knows but you. All right? So that's what I wanted to say. Implement singles, doubles, and triples into your training at very heavy loads during the year for anywhere from 6 weeks up to a whole freaking 2 or 3 months of training. This will really add some that thickness to you. It'll make you, and it'll give you a dense look. I believe that this type of training also is more myofibular. I know there's no proof for that, but I believe it is. It's going to give you more myofibular growth versus this fake look, this puff look. When I see guys all puffed out, that's a lot of carbohydrates, that's a lot of glycogen, that's a lot of creatine, or it's a lot of PEDs. Okay, it looks great for a little while, then it dissipates. If you stop training, it goes away. I don't want muscle that goes away. I pretty much stay the same all the time, you know, and that's how, and what I like and the way I judge myself is when I get stronger. At this point right now, I started doing here about 2.5 months ago behind the neck presses. Okay, behind the neck press. And I'm up to now 135 pounds of behind the neck presses for 5 reps. Okay, that's pretty damn good for an old guy like me. And believe me, not many. And I go all the way down, all the way back. I touch the traps. And I've done behind the neck presses for a long time. Okay, but I just put them back because I wanted to hit the shoulders in a different way. This is what I'm talking about. You've got to experiment and try many different things. And there's not many people will be able to tell you except yourself. This is the beauty about lifting is it's got so many roads to go down and so many variables. You're never going to get tired and it's never going to get old. All right, that's all I got to say in this video. I hope you like it. Please subscribe and we'll talk more about this. Right now, I'm doing triples and I'm enjoying it very, very much. So remember, Brooks Cubic, get the book. It's called Dinosaur Training. Brooks Cubic, Dinosaur Training. You can't go wrong with this book. You'll really enjoy it. And if you do get it and read it, give me some feedback. I'd like to know what you think about it. All right, Claudio Martini, we're out of here. Find this button here. All right, ciao. We'll talk to you next time.